Hi, folks. It's good to see you again. And it's good that you're watching me again. I wanted to show you something that I meant to put in there yesterday. This is the hole that, let me get my shadow out of the way. Maybe you can see better. This is the hole that I took the passion flower out of. I said you want to get a good bit of dirt. Well, you see the size of my hand here, all right? That one little plant, I dug out this big area here of dirt so that I wouldn't mess with it. Now, they do have a tap root, so you want to try to get down, and I didn't get down far enough, and this may actually be part of the tap root, but whenever you're transplanting them, get a lot of dirt. Okay, enough about that. 3 days to talk about passion flowers. That's what happens whenever you get old and you don't script your videos. You forget things. I'm going to do something here real quick, with part of the Daily Frog. I'm going to get rid of a lot of this dingy water. It's natural, it's raw, they're loving it, but it's too stained to get a good look at all the little tadpoles in here. So I'm going to take that off and replace it with some fresh, clean rainwater. And that'll be easier for us to see. Y'all hang on. And look at that. That water's so clear. You can see my hand there. Yeah. Now let me tell you something. Here's a little natural, like helping natural. And anytime you're out there in the natural world and you're wanting to go, like say maybe catch a fish or something like that, if you're not wanting to catch the fish and eat it or whatever, and you're wanting to let it go, or if you're handling anything that lives in the water, what you always want to do is make sure that your hand is wet. Anytime that you're messing with anything that lives in the water, you want to handle them with a wet hand. That'll help them a lot. That'll help them live. If you hit them with that dry, salty hand, it really hurts their skin. It hurts fish, especially if they're not a scale variety, and it'll hurt your amphibians too. So always use that wet hand method when you're handling something that's aquatic. Now we gotta put some clean water back in there, some nice clear water. I didn't think y'all wanted to watch me do the whole thing, so I sped it up for you. Okay, well, that water's a lot clearer. I just flushed, just put it in there, right? Just filled it up with the fresh, clean water, and it still hadn't had a chance to settle down yet, but that's way better than what we had to look at before. And I may do something else again with it later, not right now, but now we can get a good look. I hope that this is recording, don't have too much glare or anything. Look at all my tadpoles. I got a lot of plans for these. I think I'll be able to show you some fun things. It'd be good to let your kids see. There's a lot of people that use YouTube to show their children things about nature, or anybody wanting to learn. And that's a big thing for me, having been a dad trying to show my kids as much as I could. I can relate to that. And so I want to try to do some things that'll be a lot of fun, a lot of good things for a family to be able to watch. I like to keep my channel, squeaky clean for that. I know what it's like as a parent to have to worry about what your kids may just overhear or see just in passing, just that quick, 5 seconds or 1 second. And so I always want to have a good, clean channel for folks. But yeah, we'll give this a chance to settle down and may get you a video of it before. Now I got to go do something else. We'll get that coffee can into work doing something else. This old broken bucket is perfect for my use here. It's got a little hole in it, or a great big crack. Oh, that's going to let water out. I'm going to take, though, and get me some of this. I'm going to find a scorpion in here with my bare hand, and I hope I don't. I'm going to try not. I don't want to find a scorpion. But we're going to put this in the bottom of it. A lot of times, I'll just find some cardboard and use that as, you know, the Band-Aid, the little barrier to keep my dirt from going out, you know. I think we've probably all done that. But if you're new to gardening of any kind, this will be a little tip for you. Now, what this will also do is any amount of organic material that you mix into your soil, whether it is in a garden bed or in your hugel mound or whatever, you know, it's going to hold water. Every bit of this rotten wood, about to break my finger doing this, every bit of this is going to trap and hold moisture. But it won't be the kind that's going to hurt your plants. It'll stay contained inside the wood. And the roots will access that water as they need it. That's very important. It won't hurt them a bit. Now, if your plants sit in water, it'll kill a bunch of them. Some plants don't care. Some plants want to be in water, but most of them don't. But if you use rotten wood, the rotten wood soaks up the moisture like a sponge. Your plant sends down roots to it, and it taps into that moisture as it needs it. It's its own private little thing. And when you're container gardening, growing things in buckets and containers of all kinds, that's important. That moisture control is incredibly important. Water evaporates out of these things and drains out fast. This wood and the wood that I'll mix in with the dirt is going to help me maintain that moisture and help my plants live in a container easier. Now let's go get some dirt back from some ants. Some of the folks that's been with me for a while, y'all remember an episode where I got eat up. I had a bunch of dirt piled up and covered it. That made an incredible place for ants to build themselves a home. And I want my dirt back, more specifically my soil. Now, I put them in here, put that soil in here in an effort to make it too hot for the ants. I said, well, that's what I'm going to try. And it worked. The ants, as it got hotter weather, they vacated this. But look at what's still living in here, okay? It got too hot for the ants, but it didn't get too hot for other things. So bacteria, all kinds of spores that were present are still there. It's hard to kill a spore. You know, you got to have chemicals. You got to have fire to kill spores. They're tough. And so all of this is still teeming with life, I would say. It's been cut off from oxygen. I'm going to add some more stuff back to it so it won't be as crucial. But I'm going to get a bunch of this dirt out, and I'm going to probably sift it down a little bit to get rid of some of the rocks. And I'm going to use that to pot up a very special pepper. That pepper, I'll show you in just a little bit. What I've got here is a piece of my 1/2-inch hardware cloth laying right on top of this bucket. I just took the ant dirt and put it right on top of here. And this is how I do things. I'll use this hardware cloth to sift through. Now, this is a one-handed operation here. But, and again, you know, we're all at different levels, and a lot of y'all do this already. Some of you may not know about it. What if you're a young couple in an apartment and you want to start growing your own food in a bucket, but you ain't got a clue how to do it? Or maybe you know somebody that could use this video to help them out. You can go out there in your woods next to your apartment or wherever, or next to your job, somewhere where your soil is still natural and unpolluted. Dig you up a few buckets, take it home, plant something in that bucket. Okay, look at here. See all these rocks surfacing up? Now, rocks are okay. You know, nature doesn't get rid of all the rocks before she grows a plant. You don't have to either, but if you can, that'll help the root structure. And you can replace the rocks with rotten wood and some good leaf mold, some mycorrhizal fungi, some get out there in the woods and scrape up some of that that top layer, which got all the life in it. Do that, and you make yourself some very good soil to grow in, and add back that extra organic matter. I like to use rotten wood. It's wonderful, and it becomes soil. I'm doing pretty good with this with one hand. I'm going to stop talking though. I just wanted to show you this step. Now I've gone and got some more rotten wood and mixed in with some of this good soil that I've got. Now this rotten wood already has a lot of fungus life in it. It's broken down by a lot of fungal life. I'm mixing it in here, and then I'm going to add some more. I'm going to put a little bone meal in here. I'm going to add some of my dirt back over here. All right. Now, what I'm doing is loosely following for this batch. The only thing that I don't have is leaf mold in here. But this is the method that Will It Grow uses. John up in Cape Cod, Will It Grow. This is his method for growing his peppers, and that's what I'm duplicating here, roughly. If you look back a few episodes, you can find where I did a cayenne pepper. It was I think my first Shed Wars video, or one of them. What I'm going to do now is add just a little bit of bone meal to right here. Now this is a Cape Cod man up there that I'm following. But we're going to do this Justin Wilson style, right? We're just going to put like a half a cup in there. We put like a half a cup, sprinkle it around, and that'll be just fine right there. Yeah. Y'all remember Justin Wilson? Some of you are old enough to remember him. Some of you won't. But look up on YouTube and you can find probably the most famous chef, or one of like 2 or 3 that's ever been, is Justin Wilson, Cajun chef. So I'm going to put a little bit of bone meal in there. And now I'm going to put this dirt in there, or this soil. All right. I went and got a little bit more almost dirt. That's what I call my rotten wood. It's almost dirt. And I'm going to mix this into the top layer. It's got fungus in it. It's got bacteria. It's got everything a growing pepper needs. And except something to make my dog stop barking and whining. I'm away from her right now, and she doesn't like that. Am I even getting y'all in the shot here? Okay, let's do a little bit more. You do not want, you don't want a noisy dog. You don't want to fill it all the way to the top. You want to leave that room to flood it with water, and so that it'll have like a reservoir that can just soak down into it. You want to be able to fill it up all the way to the top and let it soak down in when you go to watering. And that'll help you out right there. Now I'm going to make a little hole. I'm going to get rid of that. But every bit of organic matter that you put in here is going to help, within reason, of course. But it'll all hold water. Now let me see. Was there something else that John always says? Okay, I remember what it is now. Hold on. John's advice on this is to always go ahead and get whatever you're planting in wet. Soak it down. When you do that, you don't put your plant into dry soil, and then you pour your water in, and that disturbs everything. It'll uncover your seeds, uncover your plant, and you have to go back in and do it again. If you go ahead and get it soaked first, then wherever you plant it, it's going to be there. Now look how long it's taken. It's going to take a while for that to soak through and dry out. I'm not going to put it in there just yet. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes. Do you see that? It's been at least 5 minutes now, and there's still water standing in this. That is what you want. When you're container gardening, in most situations, different plants have different needs, but in most situations, you want this for your regular plants. You want it to hold on to that water. You want it to be able to drain, but you want it to hold on to it. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's taking a long time to drain out. If you just use regular potting soil for everything, then everything is going to dry out very fast. When you use just straight potting soil, it almost you might as well just be pouring it in the ground beside it sometimes. There's still ways that it's good and wonderful, you know. Don't get me wrong, okay? I've got some things in 100% potting soil here, and it's got its uses and its place. But this is a wonderful alternative, and it only costs you a trip to the woods or someplace where you've got good soil. It's free for the exercise on a good day, especially if you pick up a bucket on the side of the road, you know, that's good and clean. Gardening doesn't have to cost you much money at all. The only reason that that we're all here is because for most of human existence, gardening really hasn't cost anything. It was freely done in a natural way by our ancestors. Here's a quick look at my passion flower. I've, you know, anytime you transplant something, you want to give it that protection from the sun. It's looking pretty good. So I think I did the right thing here, did it the right way. I've had success with some of these before, but you do have to be careful. Now let me get back to the pepper. All right, it's done now. I've had this little pepper in the greenhouse, babying it. Wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to plant it, but it needs to be outside. It needs to be in a pot. It's a beautiful little pepper. This has grown a lot since John sent it to me, and it's got plenty of room now to keep going. This is his wife's favorite pepper. His wife loves these. There's actually 3 in here, and then what I've done, I was a little nervous about pulling them apart, so I did not do that. I want to just leave them sitting here, just like they are. John, if you think I need to thin these out or anything like that, let me know. If it's okay to leave them sitting in there like they are, let me know that. But another thing that he always likes to do is to go ahead and put your stakes. Anytime that you're putting in stakes for something, go ahead and put them in before you plant them. That way it's there. You're not going to damage the roots later. Just go ahead and stake them at the beginning. And your plant won't have to suffer with the trauma of that root damage by putting a stake close to them later. Makes perfect sense. This is the kind of thinking that, you know, a lot of people have. But if you're in Cape Cod, where it stays cold a long time out of the year, and you only have a short growing season, you don't have too many chances to mess up. Now here in the South, we have a very long growing season. Cape Cod doesn't have that. So you got to be on your game. And John at Will It Grow is definitely on his game. So John, here's your wife's favorite pepper. I can't wait for this to grow out, take over this bucket, and get huge. Buddy, I appreciate you up there. I appreciate your friendship and your gift. And do me a favor. I was thinking about this earlier today. Get out there and send me a picture of a sunset, or make a little video and get a sunset up there on the Cape Cod. I'd love to see that. A little sunset action from all over the world. So from Homestead Aquarius, for wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a great day. And mulch. Mulch the top of it. I have pine cones here, so I use that a lot. But wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a great day and a great evening. And y'all take care and be safe. See you back tomorrow.